At the outset, I thank my Almighty and my parents for this wonderful day. Father, it is really a proud moment for me to come back to my alma mater on this day, and that too for the 180-year annual day. And of course, doubly happy to be part of this absolutely amazing stadium. And of course, also our company group is completing 40th year. So you are completing 180th year, we are completing 40th year, and as a mark of it, yes, I have agreed. Yes, my dear students, I'm always happy to share my experience. And you had seen the journey of my company, my organization. I always say, success is not the destination. It is only the journey. And our journey continues. And I would like to tell you, I was the future leaders of your student council. I was just remembering an occasion when I was also part of the student council. That's why I said future leaders. And I would like to see one of you to be here one of the days, to come back to the alma mater as a chief guest. What I am today, standing before you, it is because of Jesuit fathers and Jesuit institutions. And not only here, the world over, wherever I am addressing any conference, whenever they ask me, what is your position today, how you are, how it is possible, and I always tell them the foundation was from Jesuit fathers. I'm very happy to donate this amount because of the great gratitude I have towards Jesuit fathers and the institutions. When you looked at the journey, I want to tell all our students that only one principle. For me, constant or consistent progress beats occasional perfection. The consistent progress beats occasional perfection. If you really want to be successful in your life, in whatever you do, you need to be consistent, constant, competent, and comprehensive. If you are not that, then you are losing the battle. So a little bit, this stage is a bit emotional for me because I had spent 4 years in this campus. I have to give you a little bit of my story because I always say, poverty gives power. If you don't have resources, you are fortunate. You know why? Because you have the freedom to make any decision. I was born in lower middle class, 12 children. My mother was a teacher. My father was a clerk. Of course, my eldest brother is also a Jesuit priest. And in a small school studied. And I gave a lot of trouble to my parents. So that my mother put me into St. Mary's School, Dindigul. Till today, I'm indebted to the school because that school transformed me completely. I was a troublesome boy, very militant, and absolutely mischievous. and the Jesuit priests there, they really gave me a lot of opportunity, brought out the latent talent in me. That's where the confident journey of Xavier Britto started. Of course, I studied in Tamil medium. Now, when I came to St. Joseph's, those days pre-university in Xavier's Hall, 250 students will have to study together, and also 250 students will have to sleep together. That was the case. It is a big hall. Fortunately or unfortunately, I wanted to become a priest. There was a spiritual priest. For those who want to become priest, every Friday one spiritual father will come and he will ask what are the things we are doing and so on. And my answers to the spiritual priest was not satisfying. And he wrote on the diary, because he has to write a diary at the end of the year, that Mr. Britto has to have a wait for some more time to join to the Society of Jesus. Fortunately, I had not become priest. Because my mother once told me, Britto, I know you wanted to go. Now you finish your BCom. And then we will see. And one more word she added. You have not joined, probably you would have brought back many people from the priesthood. Maybe my mother was correct. So, when PUC, when I was studying, those days economics, you have to write a lot of pages and so on. So I scored the highest, 88 marks, I still remember. The second fellow was one Mr. Deepak. Because of that, because we were under the university, so I got admission into some economic institute, very famous in Bangalore. So I was in Devakote. That day I was so happy. I told my father I got admission into this very famous institute of economics. It has got a great future. Only the top students of all the universities in India, they joined this institute. My father said, the fees is 10,000 rupees. It's not possible. Our family cannot make it. Because like you, all brothers and sisters are studying. He said, sorry. So I really didn't want to study. I told my father, please give your job. I will take it up and I will stay back in the hometown. But my mother didn't agree. She came back with me, met Father C.K. Swami, and told Father C.K. Swami, this is what happened. Father C.K. Swami, I'm very thankful to him. He admitted me with full scholarship for BCom here. And fortunately, I am using the word fortunately to see my destiny. Fortunately, St. Joseph's that time did not have MCom. If only St. Joseph had MCom here, I would have stayed back. Probably I would have been one of the professors sitting here, retired or whatever it is. Or I would have been a government officer somewhere, because our family has never been into business. I am the first generation businessman. So I had to go to Chennai. It is because of that fact. So I went to Loyola College. I got my admission and I studied MCom. Fortunately, I got my gold medal. Because of that, my head of the department, Professor Arika Swami, gave me the first job as an assistant professor, because I took the evening college because I wanted to complete other professional courses. So I took the evening college professorship. And then what happened was, by that time my father and mother retired. My sisters were studying. My eldest brother had gone already to become Jesuit priest. The entire responsibility came on to me. This is where I say, compared to the pampered child, always a parented child do well. The reason being, at the young age itself, you are forced to take lot of responsibilities and also to make lot of decisions. That's where I set up I just got into a small house of 1,000 rupees. I took my father and mother, they were staying with me in Egmore. I started my career, and then I thought, now I have to work hard to ensure that I have to complete my MBA, law, within 2 years in order to get accommodated into a big corporates. So 7 to 11, morning 7 to 11 became my heaven. The reason being, morning 7 o'clock I'll go to a small commercial school. I used to take St. Anthony's Commercial School in Egmore, Commerce and Accounts. Then immediately the same school, +1, +2, I take Commerce and Accounts. Those days, Commerce Masters were much in demand. So then up to 12 o'clock I would teach, then go back home. My mother used to prepare food. Then I take my little moped, Moira moped. It was a funny moped. Every half an hour it will stop. Then I have to do something to reduce the heat. So then I just go to Law College, Madras Law College. Then in the afternoon, 2 to 4, in Broadway, in a Holy Trinity school, I was teaching for the CBSE students, accounts and commerce. Then I take my that bike, go to Loyola College, teach 6 to 9, and then come back to my house, because my house, small house, never had a room because I didn't want to disturb my parents. I put a small shamiana with a small light, sitting up to 1 o'clock to study and whatever, I had to do my ACS through correspondence and so on. And then by 2 o'clock I go, this routine starts. And for 3 years, I had to do this in order to complete my MBA, law, and of course ACS. This kind of struggle still reminds me that if you are having the willingness, if you enjoy doing anything in your life, the years go off without any botherations. And then comes the biggest challenge, is that when I was doing LIBA, that was again a turning point in a Jesuit institution. One of my professors guided me to get into the shipping. And for a year I worked with him, and later on, and accidentally, I started a small company, custom brokers company, with about 5 people, 20,000 rupees in 500 square foot in Lincoln Street, not knowing much about this shipping and logistics. Please understand, today, everybody thinks when you have a qualifications, you have to look for the relevant job. If you are going in for jobs according to your studies, then you become a survivor. But if you are going in for something different which are not connected, not bothered about your qualification, you will definitely become a leader. So don't ever look for relevant jobs of your graduations. Take the opportunity as it is and then get involved into it. So what happened is that, imagine in Madras those days, almost 12 years, I was in motorbikes. Every day I used to travel 180 kilometers because I have to go to MEPS, go to airport, and then to the seaport, everywhere, go to customs. Sometimes when I stand in the customs for about 2 hours, 3 hours, I used to think, with all the qualifications, why I had to stand. There comes my calmness and my patience. I know my family cannot afford, and I have to come up. I have no other people in my relatives also can help me, and I am standing alone. I have to fight it out. So, lot of humiliations I used to go through. And first I started with Rajadut, then I had Yamazaki or something, and then Yamaha. Then finally I ended up in Bullet. 1994-95, I bought the second-hand Ambassador 1703 That was my biggest achievement in my life. So when I got my first ambassador, I was so happy. My mother was happy. My family was happy because they had never even gone in a car, always bus and everything. So this was the fantastic experience. Again, when I got married, what happened was the family, my wife's side, they are also lower middle class. And because my mother liked the family, whatever my mother says, I say yes. Because I always think my mother is correct. Because she would always make the right decisions in our family. So much respect I have. So without seeing the girl, I don't know how many people will do it. Without seeing the girl, not even a photograph, I went for my engagement. Unfortunately, I got a nice wife. She supported me well because I was not earning much. She was adjusting. And so what happened was afterwards, business was a challenge. I couldn't do much. I was not earning. I was not very happy. Then I started working for UPSC exam. That was one side. Then I went to Velangani because I decided, now I think the time has come. I cannot run this business because, already I have 6, 7 staff. I was not able to pay the salaries. I went to Velangani and I prayed. And I said, Mary Mother, I have come here. Either I have to continue this or I need to finish this off and get on to my job. That time I was getting a lot of jobs. While I was coming, I had again, St. Joseph's comes. That's why I'm coming to the point. While I was coming, I had a wild thought. I had a junior in the hostel by name Saravanan from ADJ. Those days they are very big. ADJ, Xavier Britto Nadar and Sons. Why can't I call him? Because their head office is in Nagapatnam. So I simply took a chance to call him. And Saravanan said, brother, I used to do a lot of activities here. I used to be in dramas, I used to be a speaker, I used to be a singer for our college. So all the time, sometimes the notice board, my name used to come. So he said, he had a big respect for me. So please come. So he gave me a lunch. What do you want, sir? I don't have any business. You are doing a lot of containers in Chennai. Why can't you give some business to me to survive? Immediately, he called Madras and told them, he is my senior from St. Joseph's College and you should support him. And I went to Chennai and talked to them and they gave me the business. Those days, onion export was a tough business, lot of shutouts. You wouldn't believe, almost 3 to 4 days, I used to sleep in the harbor in containers by spreading the newspaper for 3 nights, 4 nights. Only on the 5th day, I go back home and sleep. My father-in-law asked me, what kind of job you are doing? That was a very, very pathetic situation for me because do or die. I've got a business I have to stand. Because of that dedication, I was able to beat my competition because there were a lot of shutouts, but in a dedicated fashion, I was sleeping in the harbor, making sure the captains are taking my containers, and thereby I brought it to 0 shutout for their containers. He transferred the entire business to me. That was the beginning of my confidence. Then I thought I should travel to Bangalore. Those days, too many agents were chasing few cargo. We were not having, not like today, so much of business in India, thanks to the growth of India. So when I went to Bangalore, I always take the unreserved compartment. Again, sleeping in the unreserved compartment because I was not having enough money. I couldn't stay in a hotel, so I will get down in the station, Bangalore station, go to the cloakroom, take bath, dress up, and take an auto, and go to 6, 7 clients for marketing, and then come back the same night, Chennai mail, I come back. I was not having money. So like that, my constant effort, I could get into Gokuldas Exports. That time, they were the biggest garment exporters of India. And you wouldn't believe, to see him, I had to wait for 3 hours in his office. It was hurting me too much. He was not calling me. So when I went inside, I challenged him. This is how I am going to do it differently. And he got a little bit attracted. And he said, he called his logistic manager, transfer some business to Mr. Britto. And I did it in such a way that Within 6 months, I was able to get all the business of Gokul Das. That's where, by God's grace, I started growing. I never looked back in my business. How you have achieved this? 20 years back, I thought India would grow in such a way that my company has to get equipped. That's where my education and my background helped me to think ahead. That after 1992, when we started having the liberalization, globalization, and world as one market, I decided that country will go this way. I need to create like supermarket, all their logistic services under one roof. And I took efforts for more than 2 decades to create all the services all over India. And you take today, any corporate, big corporate in India, they will have to go through me. If you want to eliminate your competition, never get into cutthroat competition, rather than you raise your level in such a way that go to that extent, you reduce the competition or you eliminate the competition. That is how Kerry Indev is growing today. If you want to have success, success will not lower down to your level to accommodate you. You have to raise your standard in order to accommodate the success. God even gives food to the bird only not in the nest. The bird has to fly and get the food. So, which means whatever qualifications you have, I would like to request you to raise your standard and ensure that you create all the capabilities in such a way that you are able to match up and then keep abreast to the requirements of growth of this country. Dear friends, this is one simple thing. That's my life. I conclude. Where there is love, there is life. Where there is life, there is hope. Where there is a hope, there is faith. Where there is a faith, miracles happen. Where there is a peace, there is God. When you have God, why you worry? You have everything. Take care.